The massive screen in Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Center lit up with another alert. Commander Jack Thompson rubbed his tired eyes, marking the 10th dead civilization they'd discovered this month. He stood up from his chair, walking closer to the wall-sized display showing countless star systems. "Sir, you need to see this pattern," said Bill, one of the younger analysts. His fingers flew across the holographic keyboard, highlighting various star systems in red. These civilizations didn't just die out. They vanished in a specific order. Jack leaned forward, his military training kicking in as he analyzed the data. The extinctions weren't random. They formed a clear line across space, moving steadily towards Earth's sector of the galaxy. Each extinction happened roughly 50 years apart, like clockwork. "Show me the technological level of each civilization when they vanished," Jack ordered, his voice steady despite the chills running down his spine. The display changed, showing detailed readings from the Deep Space Telescope network. "That's the strange part, sir," Bill replied, pulling up more data. "Every single one of these civilizations was at roughly the same development stage we are now, just beginning serious space exploration, starting to colonize their solar systems." Jack walked slowly around the circular command center, looking at each analyst's screen. They had all stopped their regular work, drawn into this disturbing discovery. The pattern was too perfect to be natural. Something was hunting young civilizations. "Get me the president," Jack said quietly, "and contact Dr. Miller at the Antarctic Research Station. Tell her to speed up the dig. We might have just found what she's been looking for." Within hours, the White House's secure conference room was packed with Earth's top military and scientific leaders. The president sat silently as Jack explained their discovery, his presentation showing the steady march of extinction across the galaxy. "Based on the pattern and speed," Jack concluded, pointing to Earth's position on the map, "whatever did this will reach us in approximately 5 years." The room erupted in worried whispers. The Secretary of Defense stood up, her face pale. "Why are we only seeing this pattern now?" "Because we just finished building the quantum telescope network last month," Jack explained. "It's the first time in human history we've been able to see detailed enough images of these distant star systems. We got lucky. We're the first civilization on their path to have advance warning." Dr. Anna Miller's voice came through the room's speakers. The archaeologist had been patched in from Antarctica. "Commander Thompson is right. The artifacts we're uncovering here, they're not random. Someone left them for us to find. Someone who knew this was coming." The president finally spoke, his voice firm. "What exactly are you finding down there, Doctor?" "Weapons, Mr. President. Advanced technology. And instructions." There was excitement in Anna's voice. "Whoever left this here, they were fighting against something. Something that hunts civilizations like ours. They built this outpost as a gift for whoever was smart enough to discover it in time." Jack pulled up new images on the screen. "The pattern also shows something else. These hunters, they always attack the same way. They expect young civilizations to panic, to fight among themselves when first contact happens. Every single extinct civilization showed signs of global conflict just before they vanished." The president stood up, looking at each person in the room. "Then we do the opposite. Humanity unites. Now, in secret," he turned to Jack. "Commander Thompson, you're now in charge of Project Guardian. Work with Dr. Miller. Learn everything you can from that outpost." "And the public?" the UN secretary asked. "They can't know. Not yet. Mass panic is exactly what these hunters expect." The president's eyes hardened. "We have 5 years to prepare the biggest surprise in the history of the galaxy. Because this time, humanity won't be the prey. We'll be ready." As the meeting ended, Jack looked one last time at the pattern of dead civilizations leading to Earth. For the first time since making the discovery, he smiled. Humanity had always been good at learning from others' mistakes. Now they had the chance to learn from the mistakes of entire civilizations. The hunters were coming. But this time, Their prey was waiting for them. Dr. Anna Miller's breath frosted in the cold Antarctic air as she stared at the massive metal door they'd uncovered. 3 months of careful digging had revealed an entrance unlike anything humanity had ever built. The smooth, dark surface showed no signs of rust, despite being buried under ice for thousands of years. "Temperature holding at -40, reported Mark, her lead engineer, checking his instruments. "But there's heat coming from inside. After all this time, something's still running in there." Anna nodded, touching the strange symbols carved into the door's frame. They'd found similar markings at other dig sites around Antarctica, but never this clear, this complete. "Begin the opening sequence we found in the other chambers." The team had discovered 5 smaller outposts over the past year, each containing pieces of a puzzle. Now they finally had the complete key. Mark pressed specific points on the door in sequence, following the pattern they decoded. With a hiss of escaping air, the ancient door slid open smoothly, revealing a lit corridor that stretched deep into the ice. The lights, sensing movement, brightened automatically. "Still working after all this time," Anna whispered. She keyed her radio. "Command, this is Miller. We're going in." Commander Thompson's voice crackled through. "Remember, Doctor, we only have 4 years and 8 months until they arrive. Whatever's down there, we need to understand it fast." The research team moved carefully through the corridor, their instruments scanning everything. The walls were covered in more symbols, but these were different. They showed star maps, diagrams, and what looked like weapon designs. "It's a teaching facility," Anna realized, studying the patterns. "They left this here to teach whoever found it. Look, these diagrams show the same ships we detected moving through the galaxy. The Hunters." The corridor opened into a vast chamber that made everyone gasp. Suspended in transparent containers along the walls were pieces of technology, weapons, engines, and devices they couldn't even begin to understand. But most impressive was the massive hologram floating in the center of the room. As they entered, the hologram activated. A figure appeared, not quite human, but humanoid. When it spoke, their translation computers struggled to keep up. "If you are seeing this, you have proven yourself worthy," the figure said. "We are the Resistance, and we have waited long for a species capable of finding this place. The Harvesters are coming. They have destroyed thousands of civilizations, including our own. But we did not die without leaving hope for the future." Anna moved closer, recording everything. The hologram continued. "In this facility, we have left you our knowledge, our technology, and most importantly, our understanding of the enemy. The Harvesters believe themselves invincible because they have never faced a prepared opponent. You will be the first." Mark called out from one of the side chambers, "Dr. Miller, you need to see this." Anna rushed over. The room was filled with computer terminals, all still functioning. On the screens were detailed schematics of the Harvester ships, their weapons, their tactics, everything humanity would need to fight back. "This is incredible," Mark said, scrolling through the data. "They're not just giving us weapons, they're showing us how to improve them. These are like teaching blueprints, designed to help us understand and advance the technology." Anna's hands shook as she contacted the surface. "Commander Thompson, remember how we thought this might be some kind of weapons cache?" She paused, looking around the vast facility with its countless secrets. "It's so much more. It's a complete military academy, left by people who spent centuries fighting the Harvesters, and we have less than 5 years to graduate." Back in Washington, Commander Thompson shared the news with the president. Plans were already being made to move the world's top scientists and engineers to Antarctica. The hidden base would become humanity's secret university, teaching them everything they needed to know about their future enemy. The race against time had begun. But for the first time in history, a young civilization would face the Harvesters with the collected knowledge of all those who had fought before. The Hunters were about to learn a hard lesson about the danger of leaving their prey time to prepare. Colonel Tom West stood on the observation deck of humanity's first true warship, hidden deep within an asteroid in the belt. To any outside observer, the asteroid looked like one of thousands being mined in humanity's resource expansion program. In reality, it was one of 50 secret shipyards scattered throughout the solar system. Hull testing complete, Colonel reported his second-in-command, Lisa. The stealth systems are working better than expected. Even our own sensors can't detect it unless they know exactly where to look. Tom nodded, watching as workers in spacesuits swarmed around the massive ship. Its dark surface seemed to bend light around it, a trick they'd learned from the Antarctic archive. How many ships have we completed? This is number 43, Lisa said, checking her tablet. We're ahead of schedule thanks to the automated construction systems. The public still thinks we're building mining vessels. The Global Climate Protection Initiative had been the perfect cover. When thousands of rockets started launching into space carrying atmospheric monitoring equipment, no one questioned it. Every nation contributed, all playing their part in humanity's greatest deception. Tom's comm unit beeped. It was Commander Thompson from Earth. Colonel, is your ship ready for the weapons test? Yes, sir. We're preparing to move it to the far side of Jupiter. No civilian telescopes will spot us there. Good. Dr. Miller just finished translating another section of the archive. The harvesters have never encountered quantum weapons before. They won't be expecting them. Tom smiled. The Antarctic base had given them more than just technology. It had given them the element of surprise. The harvesters were used to crushing primitive civilizations. They had no idea humanity was now building weapons even their ancient enemies hadn't possessed. In orbit around Mars, another part of the plan was taking shape. General Janet Reed watched as thousands of small satellites were deployed, disguised as debris from mining operations. Each one contained powerful weapons and advanced sensors, all hidden under a layer of what appeared to be space junk. The defense network is at 70% coverage, Janet reported to the United Earth Command. When the harvesters arrive, they'll think they're just looking at the mess humans made while learning to mine asteroids. Instead, they'll be flying into the largest trap ever built. Back on Earth, the deception continued. Old-style rockets launched regularly, carrying what appeared to be basic satellites. News channels reported on humanity's clumsy attempts to build a space economy. Social media was filled with complaints about wasted money on space programs. But in secret facilities around the world, soldiers trained on simulators based on real harvester combat data. Scientists worked around the clock, improving on the ancient designs they'd discovered. Every day, humanity grew stronger while appearing to stumble around in space like toddlers. In Antarctica, Dr. Miller made another breakthrough. The harvesters don't just attack physically, she explained to the world leaders gathered via secure quantum channels. They try to hack and disable defended systems first. But their cyber warfare is ancient. We've already developed counters they can't possibly expect. Commander Thompson, now leading the entire defense project, gathered his top officers for a secret briefing. We have 3 years left. The harvesters expect to find a divided planet of primitives. Instead, they'll face a unified human race with technology they've never seen before. Every mistake they've made in 10,000 years of hunting will come back to haunt them. The officers studied the battle plans. Humanity would appear weak and vulnerable, with outdated weapons pointed at the sky. The harvesters would never suspect that quantum-powered warships waited in secret, that every piece of space debris was a weapon, that every primitive radio signal masked advanced quantum communications. Remember, Thompson concluded, our greatest weapon isn't the technology. It's the fact that they don't know we have it. For the first time in their history, the harvesters will be the ones walking into a trap. As the meeting ended, Tom returned to his hidden shipyard. The warship's dark hull reminded him of a shark waiting in deep water. Soon, very soon, the hunters would learn what it felt like to become the hunted. They appeared without warning. One moment, the space around Pluto was empty. The next, hundreds of massive ships tore holes in space itself, emerging from what looked like burning wounds in the darkness. The harvester fleet had arrived. Admiral Mary Cooper sat calmly in her command chair aboard the primitive space station that served as Earth's visible defense headquarters. On screens around her, news channels exploded with panic as civilian telescopes spotted the alien armada. "Right on schedule," she said quietly, watching the massive ships approach. "Are they broadcasting yet?" Her communications officer nodded. "They're trying to access all our systems, Admiral, just like the archives said they would." "Good. Let them in. Show them exactly what they expect to see." The harvesters found exactly what they were looking for, a panicked civilization scrambling to respond. They easily broke into Earth's primary defense networks, finding outdated weapons systems and disorganized military responses. Their massive ships moved closer, confident in their superiority. The alien transmission began broadcasting on every device on Earth. A deep, artificial voice spoke in perfect English, showing how easily they'd analyzed human languages. "Primitive species," the voice announced. "Your technology has been analyzed. Your defenses are inadequate. Your resources will be harvested. Your resistance would be futile. Surrender now for a painless extinction." In the United Earth Command Center deep under the Rocky Mountains, Commander Thompson smiled. "They really do say the same thing every time, just like the archives showed. Admiral Cooper, you're up." Mary stood on her space station's bridge, straightening her uniform. The station's cameras broadcasted her image to every screen on Earth, playing her part in humanity's greatest act. "Alien vessels," she announced, letting her voice shake slightly with fake fear. We request time to consult with our world leaders about your demands." The harvester ships spread out through the solar system, their scans passing right through the asteroids hiding humanity's real fleet. They saw exactly what they expected: mining operations, primitive satellites, and a species too young to be a threat. "You have 6 of your Earth hours," the alien voice replied. "Use them to prepare for extinction." The next 6 hours were carefully choreographed chaos. News channels showed scenes of panic. Military units rushed around ineffectively. World leaders made frightened speeches. The harvesters watched it all, their ships moving into perfect position for their standard attack pattern. In her hidden flagship inside an asteroid near Mars, Mary checked the countdown timer. "All ships, final status report." One by one, 50 advanced warships reported ready. 10,000 hidden weapons platforms waited for activation. Every piece of space debris the harvesters had ignored was about to reveal its true purpose. 5 minutes until their deadline, Commander Thompson reported from Earth. "All ground forces in position. Quantum network ready." Mary thought about all the civilizations that had faced this moment before. They had died in fear, facing an enemy they didn't understand. But humanity had their memories, their knowledge, and 5 years to prepare. 2 minutes, her tactical officer reported. Harvester ships moving into final attack formation. They're charging weapons. "Send the signal to all ships," Mary ordered. Authorization code. Remember Antarctica. Across the solar system, hidden quantum transmitters activated. The real defense grid came online. Inside the asteroid belt, 50 of the most advanced warships ever built powered up their engines. The harvester's artificial voice boomed again. "Your time is up. Your species has chosen extinction." Mary stood up, straightening her uniform one last time. She nodded to her communications officer. "No," she replied, her voice now firm and confident. "We've chosen something else. We've chosen to be the last species you ever threaten." At her signal, the greatest ambush in galactic history began. The hunters were about to learn what it meant to be hunted. The solar system erupted with light as thousands of hidden weapons platforms revealed themselves. What the harvesters had dismissed as space debris suddenly transformed, their camouflaged surfaces falling away to reveal advanced weapon systems. Every asteroid that had been marked as mining operations split open, revealing the warships hiding inside. Admiral Mary Cooper's voice broadcasted across all frequencies, translated into the harvester's own language. "You should have checked those mining operations more carefully," she said, watching as the alien ships frantically activated their shields. "We learned that trick from the records of the Centauri civilization, the one you destroyed 300 years ago." The Harvester command ship tried to respond, but Mary continued speaking. "Those primitive defense satellites you hacked. Decoys. Those weak communication signals you intercepted. A trap. We've been waiting for you for 5 years, learning everything about you." On Earth, Commander Thompson coordinated with ground bases as they activated the planet's real defense grid. Energy shields shimmed into existence around major cities, using technology reverse-engineered from the Antarctic archive. "Let me tell you what's happening right now," Mary continued, her voice cold. "Those quantum torpedoes locking onto your ships, we built them using designs left by the Proxima civilization, the one you harvested 800 years ago. The shield-piercing beams powering up, a gift from the Arcturus Defense Force you destroyed 2,000 years ago." The Harvester fleet began to move, trying to form their standard battle formation. But every move they made was anticipated. Humanity's ships were already in perfect position to counter their tactics. "Your victims left us everything," Mary announced. "Their knowledge, their technology, their understanding of your weaknesses. We found their hidden archive in Antarctica. We learned from their sacrifices, and we spent 5 years preparing this moment." In the hidden command center, Dr. Miller watched as her translations and research were put into action. Every weapon, every tactic they'd learned from the ancient archive was deployed perfectly. The Harvesters found their standard attack patterns blocked at every turn. "This is humanity's warning to you," Mary declared. "We're not prey. We're not helpless. We're the first civilization to have time to prepare, and we use that time well. You have one chance to retreat. Leave this solar system. Leave all other developing civilizations alone. This is your only warning." The Harvester command ship finally responded, its artificial voice now tinged with rage. "Impossible. No primitive species can possess such technology. You will still be harvested." Mary nodded to her weapons officer. "Wrong answer. All ships. Execute Battle Plan Alpha. Show them what happens when the hunters become the hunted." Quantum torpedoes launched from hidden platforms, their warheads using technology the Harvesters had never encountered. Shield-piercing beams struck with surgical precision, using the exact frequencies the ancient archives had identified as Harvester weaknesses. The alien ships tried to return fire, but their weapons passed harmlessly through holographic decoys, while real ships struck from impossible angles. Everything the Harvesters had learned in thousands of years of conquest was turned against them. "Each civilization you destroyed left us their final discoveries," Mary transmitted. "Every species you harvested contributed to this moment. We're not just humanity. We're the combined knowledge and vengeance of every world you destroyed." The first Harvester ship exploded, its ancient shields useless against weapons they'd never encountered. More followed as humanity's carefully planned trap closed in. The hunters had never faced an enemy that knew them so well, that had prepared so thoroughly. "Commander Thompson," Mary called over the quantum network. "Launch Phase 2. Let's show them why they should have checked those asteroids more carefully." The battle for Earth had begun, but for the first time in the Harvesters' long history, they were the ones fighting for survival against a superior force. Humanity's warning had been delivered. Now it was time to prove they meant every word. Robert Kane watched from his stealth fighter as the largest space battle in human history unfolded around him. His small squadron had been hiding in the dark side of Mars, waiting for this moment. Now, as the massive Harvester ships tried to regroup, it was time for humanity's special forces to show what they could do. "All Phantom squadrons, begin attack pattern Delta," he ordered, his voice calm despite the chaos around him. "Remember your training. They've never seen ships as small as ours. Use that advantage." Hundreds of stealth fighters emerged from hiding spots all across the solar system. The Harvester's sensors, designed to track large vessels, couldn't detect these tiny ships that slipped through their defense screens like needles through cloth. The alien fleet was in chaos. Their traditional formation, perfected over thousands of years of unopposed conquest, was falling apart. Every tactic they tried had a counterweighting. Every weakness they'd developed over millennia of easy victories was now being exploited. Squadron 3, target their sensor arrays, Robert commanded, diving his fighter through the explosion of a harvester cruiser. Squadron 4, hit their engine cores, just like we practiced. The Antarctic Archive had revealed the harvester's fatal flaw. They hadn't truly evolved their tactics in 10,000 years. Why would they? No species had ever survived long enough to challenge them. Until now. Admiral Cooper's voice came through the quantum comm. Special Forces Command, the enemy is trying to open jump portals. Don't let them escape. We can't let them mourn their empire. Understood, Admiral. Robert replied, watching as the massive alien ships desperately tried to retreat. Activating quantum locks now. This was humanity's greatest technological achievement. Devices that could prevent faster-than-light travel. The harvesters found their escape routes blocked by technology they'd never imagined possible. In Earth orbit, the true scale of humanity's deception became clear. The primitive satellites transformed into automated battle platforms. The space junk became swarms of attack drones. Even the lunar mining facilities split open to reveal massive ion cannons. They're trying to hack our systems again, Dr. Miller reported from the Antarctic base. But their cyber warfare is ancient compared to ours. We're not just defending. We're turning their own command signals against them. The harvester ships began firing blindly, their coordinated strategy completely broken. Some of their weapons struck Earth's atmosphere, only to be absorbed by shield systems reverse-engineered from their own ancient technology. All units, execute final attack pattern. Admiral Cooper ordered. Let's finish this. Robert led his fighters in their final attack run. Target their command ship. Use the quantum torpedoes. Full spread. The Special Forces fighters struck from multiple angles simultaneously. Quantum torpedoes, designed to bypass even the strongest shields, ripped into the massive harvester command ship. The alien vessel, over a mile long, began breaking apart. Their fleet is losing cohesion, Commander Thompson reported from Earth. Without the command ship, their network is falling apart. They've never faced an enemy that could actually destroy their leadership. The remaining harvester ships tried to scatter, but there was nowhere to run. Humanity's hidden fleet had positioned itself perfectly, creating a kill zone throughout the entire solar system. Every escape route was covered, every possible maneuver anticipated. Send the final message, Admiral Cooper ordered. Robert watched as his fighters' quantum sensors showed the last harvester ships being systematically destroyed. Humanity's message broadcasted one final time, not just to the dying alien fleet, but toward the distant stars where their empire waited. Let this be a lesson. Mary's voice echoed across space. Humanity is not prey. We are not helpless. We are the vengeance of 1,000 dead civilizations, and we are coming for you next. The battle for Earth was ending, but humanity's war against the Harvester Empire was just beginning. They had the knowledge, the technology, and now the confidence to take the fight to the enemy's home territory. The hunters had created their own worst nightmare, a species that had time to prepare, learn, and strike back. 1 month after the battle, Commander Thompson stood in the Antarctic base, watching as Dr. Miller activated the facility's deepest secrets. The holographic archives hadn't just contained weapons and tactics. They held star maps, coordinates, and locations of other hidden bases throughout the galaxy. It was never just about defending Earth, Anna said, her fingers moving across the ancient controls. The resistance that built this place, they were planning something bigger. They were waiting for a species strong enough to take the fight to the harvesters. A holographic display showed hundreds of points of light, other worlds where young civilizations were developing, unaware of the threat looming in their future, worlds that would have been harvested, just like so many before them. Admiral Cooper entered the chamber, still wearing her battle-worn uniform. The quantum scans are complete. The Harvester fleet we destroyed was their main invasion force. They've never lost one before, so they never bothered creating backups. But their empire is still out there, Robert Kane added, joining them. His special forces had spent weeks cleaning up debris from the battle. They'll come back, and next time they'll be ready for our tricks. No, Thompson said firmly. Next time, we'll be attacking them. He pointed to the star map. The archives don't just show us where to find other civilizations. They show us where the Harvester Empire's core worlds are. In orbit, humanity's fleet was growing. The shipyards hidden in the asteroids now worked openly, producing more of the advanced vessels that had proven so effective. Every piece of technology captured from the destroyed Harvester fleet was being studied, improved, and incorporated into new designs. We're not alone anymore, Anna explained, bringing up new holographic images. The resistance that built this base, they left others, on a dozen worlds, in different galaxies, each waiting for a species capable of finding them and understanding their message. Mary nodded, understanding dawning on her face. We're not just the first civilization to survive the Harvesters. We're the first one strong enough to unite all these hidden resources. The ancient hologram activated one final time, showing a message they hadn't been able to decode until after the battle. To those who have proven worthy, the alien figure said, "We offer more than survival. We offer purpose. The Harvesters must be stopped, not just driven away. Will you take up this duty?" The Earth's response was unanimous. Within days, humanity began broadcasting on all frequencies, using technology from the archive to reach across vast distances. Their message reached dozens of developing civilizations, warning them, offering protection. "We are humanity," the broadcast began. "We have defeated the Harvesters that threatened our world. To any civilization that receives this message, you are not alone. We stand ready to defend you. The age of the Harvesters is ending." In the following weeks, responses began arriving. Young civilizations, some just beginning to reach for the stars, others on the verge of being harvested themselves. Each received the coordinates of the nearest hidden base, along with a promise of protection. "It's more than just fighting back," Thompson said, watching as humanity's ships prepared for their first long-range mission. "We're building something new, an alliance of free species working together. The Harvesters created their own destruction by giving us time to prepare. Now we'll use that same gift to protect others." As Earth's first diplomatic missions launched toward other young civilizations, the ancient Antarctic base revealed its final secret. It wasn't just a weapons cache or a library. It was an invitation to join something greater. Humanity had proven itself worthy not just of survival, but of leadership. The Hunters had ruled the galaxy through fear for 10,000 years, but they had never faced a united opposition, never imagined their victims could help each other. Now, humanity stood ready to unite the galaxy against them, to protect the weak, and to ensure no more civilizations would face extinction alone. The warning had been delivered, the battle had been won, and humanity's greatest chapter was just beginning.